Hello, my lovely rose garden. This is Avalon.
And Ray.
And I'm fucking pissed right now, so let's tear this bitch apart.
You had to make 2 phone calls.
And one of them was not very productive, which is even worse. Because now I have to make another phone call.
Another phone call?
So I'm gonna cope with this by being mean to this fictional character.
That's how we do.
Some people rip into poorly written literature
to cope.
Chapter 13, and it looks like it's gonna be a long one. Buckle up.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
It was lunchtime when Brullo released them for the day, and to say that Selena was hungry would be a severe understatement. She was halfway through her meal, shoveling meat and bread down her throat.
Didn't she just throw up?
Yeah.
She wouldn't be doing this. Like, if she was throwing up due to exhaustion. As someone...
Speaking from personal experience,
after you throw up from exhaustion, you don't want to look at food for a while. You want to lie down. Not move.
And it's meat and bread, too.
Yeah,
so
like, ew. Well,
pretty
okay,
heavy.
The bread, I can understand. Bread is, if you're ever feeling nauseous, bread is a good thing to eat. Because it is a good base for your stomach that, like, tells it to calm the fuck down.
You want grains.
But not meat. Don't ever eat meat after you've just thrown up.
Or you're going to be seeing that again real soon.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing that again real soon because your stomach is going to be like, wait, I just got done. Anyway.
Your stomach's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
When the dining room door opened. What are you doing here, Cole? I'm gonna start calling him Cole because that's what his name looks like. I know it's pronounced Chaol, but
it's Cole.
It's Cole. Because if I'm gonna do the harpy shrills, let's just make it Cole.
Name him, call him Colebama.
No, just Cole. She said through a mouthful. What? Said the captain of the guard, taking a seat at the table. He changed his clothes and taking a bath. He pulled a powder, sand, and put it in the pile on his plate. Selena made a disgusted face, her nose crinkling. You don't care for salmon? Then let her die.
Girl, you probably need some omega-3s after spending a year in a fucking work camp.
That's surprising, he said, taking a bite. Why? Because you smell like one. Cole, you're better than that.
I'm just over here like...
Because your pussy reeks.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I guess we're going with that one. He started to Damn. After that one.
I think I would just lay down and die.
Yeah.
I would be like, pass me that fish, I'm gonna die now. She opened her mouth to expose the ball of bread and beef that she was chewing. Oh, so it's not even like pork or something, it's beef.
It's
God,
not even like something light like chicken. She's just all like, I know I just threw up, but I'm gonna throw up again. She straight up did the seafood maneuver.
Yeah. Like, his comment, pretty crass, pretty juvenile, seemingly out of character for him, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we'll make the joke because it begs to be made, but still out of character. And then her to do this, like, toddler fucking move.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is your power fantasy?
I don't know, man.
Like, I guess there is something to be said for, you know, in a better book, in a well-done version of this, Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
When Sophie looks old, and she's freed from some of these
constraints of mannerisms that are expected of young women.
Yeah.
There is some degree of power fantasy in that, but that does not come through here.
Well, yeah, because the problem is that Selena, I can at least say this, has been given personality traits, except they wildly contradict each other. And so it's very hard to get a read on how she reacts to things normally.
Yeah, she reacts.
She's either like doing something wildly. You just kind of sit back.
He shook his head.
And she just threw up.
But he didn't continue. I can act and talk like a lady if it pleases me. Then I suggest you begin to do so. After a pause, he asked, how are you enjoying your temporary freedom? Is that a snide remark or an honest question? He took a bite of fish. Whichever you like. Whatever you want it to mean.
Whatever you want it to mean.
The window revealed the afternoon sky, slightly pale but still lovely. I'm enjoying it for the most part, especially now that I have books to read whenever you lock me in here. I don't suppose you'd understand. On the contrary, I might not have as much time to read as you and Dorian do, but that doesn't mean I love books any less. She bit into an apple. It was tart, with a sweet honey-like aftertaste. Oh, and what books do you love? He named a few, and she blinked. Well, those are good choices, for the most part. What others? She asked, and somehow an hour flew by, carrying them on the wings of conversation. Suddenly the clock chimed 1, and he rose. And I wanted to finish that paragraph before I absolutely rip into this, because I hate this Twilight-ass bullshit of being like, oh, what books do you enjoy, or what music do you like? And then just this cop-out answer of, he named a few.
Because
Bitch!
He can't have actual books that he likes, because that might not be a book that your reader Chan likes, and we want to have the perfect self-insert romantic. I assume he's going to be either the romantic partner or one side of a triangle. He's gotta have the same interests that the reader has. It's the same thing with Selena, because we don't know her favorite books either.
Yeah, and it's just so, like, okay, assumedly, you would probably just make something up for a fantasy universe, but by title alone, someone could probably assume at least what genre the book is in.
Yeah.
And this is something that can build so much character, because there's a reason why these are kind of the questions that you ask when you're getting to know somebody, of like, what's your favorite movie or what's your favorite book? It tells you about that person depending on how they respond. So for someone like Cole here, who's captain of the guard, maybe he liked books about history and military tactics, which would be the expected answers, but then he could totally throw you off by being like, oh, I like books about, courtly romance, or, something that shows you that there's something else to his character that you aren't normally seeing when he's in his, private downtime enjoying a book. And I'm just going to say it, because I'm in my Fire Emblem era. Three Houses did this better. I'm currently doing a Blue Lions playthrough, and I'm going to pair up Ash and Ingrid because they have this shared love of knights and this admiration for knights, and they love reading like old legends and, these court stories, and they, in their support conversations with each other, they're recommending each other these books, they're reading them together and talking about them, and it's adorable, and it's something that they can bond over, and it has meaning to their characters, because Ingrid has been raised basically with the mindset that her job is to get married and to marry well for her family, but she wants to be a knight.
Mm-hmm.
And Ash is a commoner who was adopted into a noble family, so he has a lot of respect for the man who adopted him and wants to, like, you know, be more than he was and become a knight. So they're both kind of unconventional in that way.
Yeah, there's a similar
Good.
ship in Three Houses that you can have where, like, I know you don't have Bernadetta, you never recruited her.
I didn't.
But she and I believe Sylvain have a thing where, because Bernadetta writes basically fan fiction.
Oh my god.
And Sylvain is all like, hey, so I read your fan fiction, when's the next chapter coming out? Which is, you know, like we said before, the kind of that unexpected thing for him to be interested in, because Sylvain, like, I don't know if it's so much of a spoiler, but he has kind of a misanthropic, like, view on romance.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't really believe in romance, so him being into fanfiction is just like, oh, okay.
And it's cute, and it adds something to the characters.
Yeah.
But no, not here.
Not here.
Blank slate.
Blank slate, baby.
Just insert your favorite book here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever. The afternoon is yours to spend in any way that you like. Where are you going? To rest my limbs and my lungs. Yes, well, hopefully you'll read something of quality before I see you again. But she said his previous answers were good choices. Whatever those answers were.
Is this negging?
Yeah, is she negging him right now? He sniffed the air as he walked out of her room. Hopefully you'll take a bath before I see you again. Wash your puss.
Wash your ass.
She doth not wash her ass. Alyssicles. Oh my god, what if I just start calling her Alyssicles?
We have so many names. We have so many names for her at this point.
I'm gonna do it. This bitch is Alyssicles from now on, and if you don't know what we're referring to, look up Alyssicles on TikTok, you'll thank me. Sighing, Selena called to her servants to draw her bath. Oh no, I'm so terrible for her. Servants to draw her bath for her. An afternoon of reading on the balcony beckoned. Bitch, me too, except it's 100 fucking degrees outside. Wish I could read on the porch right now. Instead, I'm in here reading this.
Curse, one finger of the monkey's paw curls. An afternoon of reading, you say? Fuck you.
The following dawn, Alyssicles' bedroom door opened, and a familiar stalking gait echoed through the room. Cole Westfall stopped short when he found the assassin dangling from the beam of the bedroom doorway, repeatedly hoisting herself up to touch her chin to the wooden bar. Oh, so she could just do fucking...
She can do pull-ups? I thought she was, like, severely out of shape, and that was, like, the whole thing. Is that, like, she needs time to recover, but she's just out here doing pull-ups.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, a short run made you throw up, but okay. Sweat soaked her undershirt and ran in rivulets down her pale skin. She'd been exercising for an hour already. Her arms quivered as she lifted herself again. Though she might pretend to be in the middle of the pack, there was no reason to train like it.
Wait, so she
duh!
She had the servants... She called the servants to draw her a bath, and now she's working out?
Well, this is the next morning.
Oh, okay.
Following dawn.
I was like, I missed that, because I'm just all like, why would you bathe and then work out and get all sweaty, you stupid bitch?
I'm more hung up on... She might pretend to be in the middle of the pack, but there was no reason to train like it. No shit, Sherlock! Oh, the dogs are howling.
Ow-woo!
Ow-woo!
It's the new, motorcycle coon.
Yeah, we don't have motorcycle coon anymore, really, where we live now, but we do have a lot of dogs in our neighborhood. And if they so much as think that a siren might be going off somewhere, awoo.
Awoo.
Which is much preferable, honestly. I love all the dogs in our neighborhood. They're so cute.
I love them.
They're good. They're all good. Even if every repetition made her body scream for her to stop, she wasn't that out of shape. Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are.
After-
You've literally said that you're out of shape multiple times.
After all, her pickaxe in the mines had been heavy. That's not the same thing. And it definitely had nothing to do with her fellow competitors walloping her at the race yesterday. But you weren't last. You stayed in the middle, like you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, again, this could be something if it was a case of her being like, oh yeah, I'll hold myself back to stay in the middle, and then finding out that the middle was the best she could do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what happened. Pick an idea and commit to it. God damn.
I mean, I guess maybe that could be a thing because she did stay, like, in the middle and still throw up. But that's not what she's saying here, so...
That's not what was written.
Yeah.
And this is not a book that has led me to believe that we need to read between the lines for deeper meaning.
Yeah.
Given that people keep explaining the same thing over and over again.
Unfortunately, this is just a case of the writer themselves being contradictory and not catching it before the final publishing.
Terrible.
Terrible.
She already had an edge on them. She just needed it to be a bit sharper. She didn't pause her exercising as she smiled at him, panting through her clenched teeth. Most unhinged smile you could get. To her surprise, he smiled back. And then we jump again. I'm not sure what the point of that was.
I guess to show that she works out and that she can do pull-ups.
Completely superfluous. Anyway,
Shrug.
By that afternoon, a vicious rainstorm arrived, and Cole permitted Selena to walk You're just going to have to put up with me forgetting that I've given them new names and then remembering multiple times.
You keep on saying Cole, so it's fine.
But I also keep saying Selena.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Whatever. If I say Alyssa, you know who I mean.
It's funny.
And Cole permitted Alyssa to walk around the castle with him after she'd finished training with the other champions for the day. Though he spoke little, she was glad to be out of her rooms, and dressed in one of her new gowns, a lovely lilac silk dress with pale pink lace accents and pearl beading. Oh, thank God, it's a passable color combination.
And, okay, like, my brain immediately, because, you know, on the front cover, she's, like, clearly this very pale blonde with very, very pale hair, and just in general. So my brain is just over here like, Lady Amalthea.
Fucking I wish.
Serving Lady Amalthea right now?
I wish, but I just remember the first cover, and I'm like, she looks like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but, you know.
Well, no, she doesn't look like Taylor Swift. She looks like Sarah J. Maas.
Who kind of looks like Taylor Swift.
Who kind of looks like Taylor Swift.
Well, okay, no. When I looked at the picture of Sarah J. Maas, she actually kind of reminded me of, who's the chick that plays Katniss?
God damn it. I know. I want to say Jennifer, but I don't know if that's right.
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yes, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, like, if you look at the back...
I wanted to say Jennifer Coolidge.
Look at her.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
She does kind of look like... She has, like, the face. She has the heart-shaped face.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, she looks like Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know if Jennifer Lawrence is commonly blonde. I don't know.
Sometimes?
I don't know celebrities, but she looks like a blonde Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay. Anywho.
If Sarah J. Maas somehow stumbles upon that video, you can take that one as a compliment, because yeah, you're pretty.
Yeah, she is very pretty.
It's the nicest thing we'll say about it. Ignore the rest of the video, don't worry about it.
But then they rounded a corner and nearly collided with Catherine Rompier. And again, Catherine is not her real name, but I refuse to fuck with these syllables. So, Catherine.
What was it again?
Caltaine.
Caltaine, yeah.
That sounds like a stupid-ass name. Her name's Catherine now. The assassin would have grimaced, but she forgot all about Catherine as her eyes fell upon her companion. It was an Elway woman. Oh.
A what?
New character. New challenger approaches. She was stunning, long and lean, each of her features perfectly formed and smooth. Her loose white dress contrasted with her creamy brown skin, and a three-plated gold torque covered much of her chest and neck. Bracelets of ivory and Torque.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that as an article of clothing before, but okay. That might just be me being ignorant, so
I'm
okay.
vaguely aware. It's been a while.
Clearly it goes on the chest and neck. Bracelets of ivory and gold glimmered around her wrists, and her feet were sandaled beneath matching anklets. Something about that don't sound right.
Mm.
A thin circlet comprising dangling gold and jewels crowned her head. She had 2 male guards with her, armed to the teeth with an assortment of curved Elway daggers and swords, both of them studying Cole and Elisicles closely, weighing the threat. The Elway girl was a princess. Also, creamy brown skin. So we have a dark-skinned character. I'm just going to presume that she is some form of fantasy African. Could be Sub-Saharan, could be Arabian.
My first thought when they mentioned, like, the curved swords, I'm all, like, thinking Middle Eastern?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. A character of color.
My guess.
Yes, we have a character
of color.
So place your bets on how long before she dies. Because that is one criticism of SJM that I have heard, and I don't remember very much about this character other than I liked her. But I know that there's a very common criticism of SJM that most of her characters of color end up on the short end of the stick in a lot of her books. So we'll find out. Captain Westfall, Catherine said and curtsied. Beside her, a short man dressed in the red and black garb of a councilman bowed to the pair. The Elway princess stood perfectly still, her brown eyes wary as she took in Elisicles and her companion. Elisicles offered her a slight smile, and the princess stepped closer, her guards tensing slightly. She moved with an easy grace. Catherine gestured to the girl, poorly hidden distaste written across her beautiful face. This is Her Royal Highness, the Princess Nehemia... Can't pronounce that last name.
Let me see. Nehemia Ichter?
Eager? Eatger?
Itger?
Whatever.
It's Ytgre.
Or E-R.
ER, whatever.
Tiger? I don't know. Of Elway.
Tiger fucker.
God, I wish I was watching Twisted right now. Cole bowed low. The princess nodded, barely a dip of her chin. As she fucking should, Dorian. Take notes. Elisicles knew the name. She had often heard the Elway slaves in Endovier boast of Nehemia's beauty and bravery. Nehemia, the light of Elway, who would save them from their plight. Nehemia, who might someday pose a threat to the king of Aderlin's rule over her home country when she ascended to the throne. Nehemia, they whispered, who smuggled information and supplies to the rebel groups hiding in Elway. But what was she doing here? Smuggling information, you dumb whore.
Also probably here to see the fucking fights.
Yeah, like...
Why else?
If she's not been murdered, then she does have some political sway and could leverage that for the sake of her people. Not like a certain person from Terracen would fucking know. And the Lady Catherine, Catherine added briskly. Elisicles dropped into the lowest curtsy she could give without falling and said in Elway, "Welcome to Rifthold, your highness." Oh, of course she speaks the other language. Of course she does. Mm-hmm. It's not like that's a skill that you have to maintain. I mean, possibly she could have picked it up from these other slaves in the mine. Yeah. So I guess I should give her that much. It's a simple phrase, but... Yeah. Princess Nehemia smiled slowly, and the others gaped. The councilman beamed, wiping the sweat from his brow. Why hadn't they sent Nehemia with the crown prince, or even Parrington? Why was the princess herded around by Catherine Rompier?
Okay, but, one thing is that she's supposed to be kind of like a jewel thief from some backwater town, right?
Yeah.
So, how would she know this language?
Yeah, okay.
It's all like...
You're true. She is blowing her cover here.
Yeah. Because it's all like, it would make sense if she was an assassin to pick up languages and whatnot to gather intel. But if she's a jewel thief...
Less so.
Yeah. Less so.
And not a jewel thief, like, you know, from like a crime organization or something.
Yeah.
Where you might expect that, but like, didn't they say she's like some noble's daughter or something who is being punished?
I don't know. I'm just like,
Once again, she's just doing this to show off.
Yeah, it's just showing off, and I'm just like, you have a cover. You have a cover that could be blown. You realize that.
Thank you, the princess replied, her voice low. I imagine you've had a long journey, Alysicles continued in Elway. God damn it. See, you could have, a simple greeting phrase, fine. Most people know a few greeting phrases in a few different languages because it's just basics.
Yeah.
Full sentences like this, god damn it. Blowing your cover. Have you arrived today, your highness? Nehemia's guards exchanged glances, and Nehemia's brows rose slightly. Not too many northerners spoke their language, so it's not common.
Yeah.
Yes, and the queen sent this one, Nehemia jerked her head at Catherine, to bring me around with that sweating worm of a man as well. The princess narrowed her eyes at the small councilman, who wrung his hands and dabbed his forehead with a handkerchief. Perhaps he knew what sort of threat Nehemia posed, but why bring her to the castle? Alysicles ran her tongue across her teeth, trying not to laugh. He seems a bit nervous. She had to change the subject, or else she'd indeed laugh. What do you make of the castle? It's the most foolish thing I've ever seen, Nehemia said, scanning the ceiling as if she could see through the stone and into the glass sections. I'd sooner enter a castle made of sand. Well, fun fact, when you heat sand up, you know what happens to it? Cole watched them, somewhat disbelievingly. I'm afraid I haven't understood a word you've said, Catherine interrupted. Alysicles tried not to roll her eyes. She'd forgotten the woman was there. We, the princess said, struggling for the word in the common language, were talking with the weather. About the weather, Catherine corrected sharply. Watch your mouth, Alysicles snapped before she could think. Catherine gave Alysicles a vicious little smile. If she's here to learn our ways, I should correct her so she doesn't sound foolish.
Okay, here we go. Instead of getting killed immediately, we just jump right into the fantasy racism.
Yep. We gotta have that first.
I'm just over here like, why does the fantasy racism have to exist, though? Especially since this is a princess. Like...
Whatever.
Why can't we just have a dark-skinned person in a fantasy book not experience racism?
Because. Here to learn their ways or for something else entirely? I mean, it's a political tactic to undermine her people and demoralize them. So, that's the something else.
Yeah.
The faces of the princess and her guards were unreadable. Your Highness, Cole said, stepping forward, a subtle movement to keep himself between Nehemia and Alysicles. Are you having a tour of the castle? Nehemia chewed on the words and then looked to Alysicles, brows high, as if she'd expected a translation by now. A smile tugged on the corners of Alysicles' lips. No wonder the councilman was sweating so profusely. Nehemia was a force to be reckoned with. Alysicles translated Cole's question with ease. If you consider this structure of madness to be a castle, Nehemia replied. Alysicles turned to Cole. She says yes. I have also been not doing the voice, but, I have respect for Nehemia, so I'm not going to shit on her language.
Yeah.
I never knew so many words to mean one, Catherine said with faux sweetness. So Alysicles' nails dug into her palms. I'm going to rip your hair out. No, that deserves that. I'm going to rip your hair out. Cole took another step toward Nehemia, effectively blocking Alysicles' path to Catherine. Smart man. Yes, good. Thank you, Book, for acknowledging. He put a hand on his chest. Your Highness, I am the captain of the Royal Guard. Please allow me to escort you. Alysicles translated again, and the princess nodded. Get rid of her, she said flatly to Alysicles, and then waved a hand toward Catherine. I don't care for her temperament. You're dismissed, Alysicles said to Catherine, flashing a bright smile. The princess tires of your company. Catherine started. But the Queen! If that is Her Highness's wish, then it will be granted, Cole interrupted. Though his features were a mask of protocol, she could have sworn she glimpsed a glimmer of amusement in his eyes. Alysicles wanted to hug him. She didn't bother to nod her farewell to Catherine as the princess and the councilman joined them, and they strode down the hall, leaving the fuming lady behind. Are all of your royal women like that? The princess said to Selena and Elway. Like Oh, sorry. No, I forgot. I'm not doing the voice when she's speaking Elway. Like Catherine? Unfortunately, your highness. Nehemia examined the assassin, and Alysicles knew she was taking in her clothes, her gait, her posture, everything Alysicles herself had observed about the princess already. But you're not like them. How do you know how to speak Elway so well? Alysicles thought of a lie, studied it for several years. You use the intonation of the peasants. Is that taught in your books? I knew an Elway woman who taught it to me. A slave of yours? Her tone sharpened, and Cole flicked his eyes toward them. No, Alysicles said hurriedly. I don't believe in keeping slaves. Something twisted in her gut at the thought of all those slaves she'd left behind in Endovier, all the people doomed to suffer until they died. Just because she'd left Endovier didn't mean Endovier had ceased to be. Nice of you to spare a thought for them now, you fucking bitch.
Remember when you just kind of immediately blanked them out of existence the moment that Endovier, left your line of sight?
And now you're like, oh shit, right, the slavery, fuck.
Oh, fuck. Anyway.
Nehemia's voice was soft. Then you are very unlike your court companions. Then you're one of the good white people. You're a not racist. Give her some ass pats for that one. Alysicles could only manage a nod to the princess as they turned their attention to the hall ahead. Servants darted past, eyes wide when they beheld the princess and her guards. After a moment of silence, Alysicles squared her shoulders. Why are you in Rifthold, if I might ask? She added, Your Highness. You don't need to bother calling me that. The princess toyed with one of the gold bangles around her wrist. I came at the request of my father, the king of Elway, to learn your language and customs, so I might better serve Elway and my people. Given what she'd heard of Nehemia, Alysicles didn't think that was the entirety of it, but she smiled politely. Yeah, we know, okay? You've said that already. But she smiled politely as she said, How long will you remain in Rifthold? Until my father sends for me again. She stopped playing with her bracelets as she frowned at the rain pounding the windows. If I'm fortunate, I'll only be here until spring, unless my father decides that a man from Aderlin might make me a good consort, and then I'll be here until that matter is settled. Seeing the annoyance in the princess's eyes, Alysicles felt a shred of pity for whatever man her father chose. How about some pity for Nehemia?
Yeah.
Oh no, a man will have to marry this smoking hot princess. Meanwhile, who's she gonna be stuck with? It's so small, but it's so just needling the point of the fact that Selena is so not a girl's girl.
Yeah.
She is not for the girlies. And it shows.
She's trying with this one, but that's because she's a foreign princess who, helps out the rebellion. But it's at the same time, girl, you're not even... Here, you are doing the least.
You're doing the least amount. Gradually, we're going to start slipping back into the Harpy shrills here because her conversation is just becoming blah.
Yeah.
A thought struck her, and Alysicles. I'm trying.
We will forget this next time.
Yeah, by the next episode, I'll just be like, who the fuck? Who the fuck is Alysicles?
I've forgotten everything I've ever done.
Alysicles tilted her head to the side. Who would you marry? Prince Dorian? Just half in, half out of the Harpies. It was prying, and listen, I need to entertain myself, okay?
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing this. I'm adding an extra challenge. It's like when you've beaten a Pokemon game so many times that you have to do a Nuzlocke just to make it challenging again.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing here. These little names and gimmicks that I'm forcing myself to try to remember and do, that's for me. So I don't get bored.
I thought I was the one here so that you wouldn't get bored.
Why would you say that? Why would you make me answer this? No, you very much are. You're also here to regale the listeners with obscure bits of trivia?
It's true. I haven't come out with much trivia recently, except the bread thing.
Yeah.
I'll come up with something.
It was prying and a bit impertinent, and she regretted the question the second it came out. But Nehemia just clicked her tongue. That pretty boy? He grinned at me far too much, and you should only see how he winked at the other women in the court. I want a husband to warm my bed, and my bed alone. She glanced sidelong at the assassin, giving her another head-to-toe examination. Alysicles caught the princess's eyes lingering on the few scars on her hands. Where are you from, Lillian? Alysicles casually hid her hands in the folds of her gown. Belhaven, a city in Fenharrow. It's a fishing port. Smells terrible. That wasn't a lie. Every time she'd visited Belhaven for a mission, the reek of fish made her gag if she got too near the docks. The princess chuckled. Rifthold smells terrible. Too many people. At least in Banjali, the sun burns up everything, and my father's river palace smells like lotus blossoms. Okay, so what are we thinking?
I'm thinking Egypt.
Thinking Egypt? All right.
Because, lotus, river palace, sun. I'm just like, my brain is immediately like, Egypt.
And then Banjali sounds like pseudo Punjabi, maybe, like...
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's probably just a blend of, like, Northern Africa, honestly, / the Middle East.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times people just include India in that, even though India is Asian.
Yeah, it's Southeast Asian, but...
But okay.
Whatever.
Fine. Cole cleared his throat beside them, obviously tired of being excluded from the conversation, and Alysicles grinned at him. Don't be so glum, she said in the common tongue. We must cater to the princess. Stop your gloating, he said, his brows low. He put a hand on the hilt of his sword, and Nehemia's guard stepped closer to him. Though Cole might be captain of the guard, Alysicles didn't doubt for a moment that Nehemia's guards would put him down if he became a threat. We're only bringing her back to the king's council. I'm going to have a word with them about allowing Catherine to show her around. Do you hunt? Nehemia interrupted in Elway. Me? The princess nodded. Oh, no, Alysicles said, then switched back to Elway. I'm more of a reader. Nehemia looked toward a rain-splattered window. Most of our books were burned 5 years ago when Aderlin marched in. It didn't make a difference if the books were about magic. Her voice
so this is like a Library of Alexandria. So yeah, I'm sitting firmly in Egypt.
Egypt, yeah. Her voice quieted at the word, even though Cole and the councilman couldn't understand them. Or history. They just burned the libraries whole, along with the museums and universities.
Yeah, this feels Egypt.
Yeah, Egypt adjacent. A familiar ache filled her chest. Alysicles nodded. Elway wasn't the only country where that happened. Something cold and bitter glittered in Nehemia's eyes. Now most of the books we receive are from Aderlin, books in a language I can barely understand. That's also what I must learn while I am here. There are so many things. She stomped her foot, her jewelry clinking. And I hate these shoes. And this miserable dress. I don't care if it's Elway silk and I'm supposed to be representing my kingdom. The material's been itching me ever since I put it on. I'm sorry, your silk is itchy?
That's not silk.
The fuck?
Not silk then.
It's
satin or something.
That's pretty much the exact opposite of what silk is supposed to feel like. Did they put sequins on the inside? What the fuck's going on here? She stared at Alysicles' elaborate gown. How can you stand wearing that enormous thing? Alysicles picked at the skirts of her dress. It breaks my ribs, to be honest.
I'm just like, okay, but...
And we hate corsets again, take a shot.
We hate corsets again, and also, like, what happened to her, like, love of fashion and all this stuff? She's only talking down on it now because this one girl said it sucks. Girl, do you have any actual interests of your own?
Well, at least I'm not the only one suffering, Nehemia said. Cole stopped before a door and informed the 6 sentries posted outside to watch the women and the princess's guards. What's he doing? Returning you to the council to ensure that Catherine doesn't lead you around again. Are you enjoying these random spurts of harpy shrill?
Yeah.
Nehemia's shoulders slumped slightly. I've only been here for a day and I wish to leave. She let out a long sigh through her nose.
Damn bitch, me too.
And again turned to the window, as if she could see all the way back to Elway. Suddenly she grabbed Elisicles' hand and squeezed it. Her fingers were surprisingly calloused, in all the spots where the hilt of a sword or dagger might rest. Elisicles' eyes met with those of the princess, and she dropped her hand. Perhaps the rumors were correct about her association with the rebels in Elway. Will you keep me company while I'm here, Lady Lillian? Elisicles blinked at the request, feeling despite herself honored. Of course. When I'm available, I'll gladly attend you. I have attendants. I wish for someone to talk to. Elisicles couldn't help it. She beamed. Cole entered into the hallway once more and bowed to the princess. The council would like to see you, Elisicles translated. Nehemia let out a low groan, but thanked Cole before turning to Elisicles. I'm glad we met, Lady Lillian, Nehemia said, her eyes bright. Peace be with you.
And also with you.
And with you, the assassin murmured. So they're Catholic also. She never had many friends, and the ones she had often disappointed her. Sometimes with devastating consequences, as she'd learned that summer with
I don't have friends. They disappoint me.
As she'd learned that summer with the silent assassins of the Red Desert, again referencing a side story where we will not see any of her badassery. I don't even think she was badass in that side story. But they're like, here, go read the novella.
No.
Click here to access the DLC.
No. I'd rather die.
After that, she'd sworn never to trust girls again, especially girls with agendas and power of their own. Girls who would do anything to get what they wanted.
So, like you, bitch? You have an agenda and assumedly power of your own? So what? Do you only trust girls who are fucking weak-willed and helpless?
Then why don't you like Catherine? Oh, right, because Catherine has political power.
Yeah.
I'm just choking on the misogyny.
I will kill you. I will throw you into the boiling pit.
Please stop with all the girl hate. But as the door closed behind the ivory train of the Elway princess, Elisicles wondered if she'd been wrong. Yes. Hating an entire gender is wrong.
Especially if they have power and you don't hate men for having power. Because guess what? Everybody has an agenda. Every single person you've ever met has an agenda.
And that agenda might be as simple as getting a slushie from the gas station.
Yeah.
But still, they got shit they want, okay?
Yeah, everybody has shit they want and are working toward, and will do things to get closer to that. And it's like, if you don't hate men for the same reasons, then yes, you're a fucking sexist.
Like, I feel like she does hate men, but I don't feel like she hates them for the same reason. I think she just thinks they're, like, oafish and boorish, and I don't know.
She only hates, like, muscular men. And I'm just
She only hates men who aren't attractive.
Yeah, which is, also sexist.
Great things for your character to have. And, like, it's fine for a character to have flaws. The problem is, this usually isn't treated like a flaw.
Yeah.
And it's way overused, and I hate seeing it in works that are targeted toward teenage girls, because you really do see a very common mentality with internalized misogyny among teenage
I'm not
girls.
like other girls who like makeup and boys. And it's like, you are not better than girls who like makeup and boys.
Like, where's
You
the
are
solidarity?
not better than any other girl. You are not better than anyone else, just in general. Like, stop.
Straight up in the comments, please rec some books that are aimed at teenage girls, that are for the girlies, like, that have good female friendships and are just girls supporting girls in whatever way. It could be just friendships, it could be sapphic romance, whatever.
We need for the girlies literature.
Please fill up my comments with for the girlies, okay? Because I hate this girl hate so much. I hate.
The Ever After High series is really good.
Oh yeah, Ever After High.
Sadly, it's out
great.
of print.
the Shannon Hale books went out of print a while ago, and I think the other companions that were released more to like the webisode canons, I don't think those are being in print anymore.
Yeah, that's because the whole like
I think they lasted a little longer.
The whole line is out of like it's not being made anymore, so I think the books are all out of print, which sucks because those are good like for the girls.
Yeah.
Stories in my opinion.
They're aimed a little younger than what I'm thinking though.
Yeah.
Like I want something that's aimed at like the 15, 17 high school range.
Yeah.
Because Ever After High was more for, like, middle grade.
I mean, I still would have read that in high school, not gonna lie.
I mean, yeah, same. But I fucking read it in college, but...
Yeah, it's...
I want books that are not in the children's section that are for the girlies.
Yeah.
Because there's... Usually in the children's section, there's plenty of for the girlies literature.
Well, yeah.
But then they enter high school and...
hate each other.
Like...
And I'm all like, stop it!
Society tries to make them hate each other and sadly succeeds, so...
Yeah.
Anywho, back to another time skip.
We're back to whatever the fuck this is.
Cole Westfall watched the assassin eat lunch, her eyes darting from one plate to the next. She had immediately stripped from her gown upon entering her rooms, and now sat in a rose and jade dressing robe that suited her well. Okay, rose and jade works.
We love, a good pastel and jewel tone contrast.
Yeah, and like jade is light enough that it works.
Well, I just in general like the contrast between jewel tones and pastels.
Yeah. "You're awfully quiet today," she said, her mouth full of food. Would she never stop eating? She ate more than anyone he knew, including his guards. She had multiple helpings of every course at each meal. "Enthralled by Princess Nehemia?" The words were barely distinguishable from her chewing.
I absolutely would not mind if Cole and Nehemia got together.
Power couple.
Power couple.
Goals.
Two good characters in this fucking book.
That headstrong girl? He immediately regretted the remark as her eyes narrowed. A lecture was coming, and he was in no mood to be patronized. He had more important things on his mind. Before departing this morning, the king hadn't taken any of the guards he'd suggested he bring on his journey, and refused to say where he was going or to accept his offer of accompaniment. Not to mention the fact that a few of the royal hounds had gone missing, only to have their half-eaten remains found in the northern wing of the palace. That was worrisome. Who would do such a gruesome thing?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Maybe any amount of the murderers, thieves, and assassins that you've brought to the palace?
I'm just over here like, why kill the doggies?
But why the doggies? Well, you've got two serial killers here that are very fucked up.
Yeah, but...
possible.
But the doggies.
The dogs. Why would you do this?
Why would you do this?
"And what's wrong with headstrong girls?" she pressed. "Other than the fact that they're not wooden-headed ninnies who can only open their mouths to give orders and gossip." Oh, you mean the exact kind of girl that you just said... You just said you don't trust headstrong girls, bitch. Like, shut the fuck up. "I just prefer a certain type of woman." Thankfully, it was the right thing to say because she batted her eyelashes. And what type of woman is that? Not an arrogant assassin. She pouted. Suppose I wasn't an assassin. Would you fancy me then? No.
You
Get her!
You better stick to that, Cole. This better not be just fucking tsundere setup bullshit. I need you to be down to fucking hate this bitch for life.
Like, even once, like, they're all on the same team, and
he's
she's
just all
leading
like,
her
no, I
rebellion.
still think you're fucking insufferable.
I just want him to hate her guts forever.
Yes.
I want him to be at her and Dorian's wedding as, like, the best man or whatever.
And he,
being
like, gets up on the mic and is all like,
I hate you.
I hate you.
And that's it. That's his speech.
I need him to be a hater.
Would you prefer Lady Catherine? Don't be a fool. It was easy to be mean, but it was also getting far too easy to be nice. He took a bite of bread. She watched him, her head angled. He sometimes felt that she looked at him the way a cat regards a mouse. He just wondered how long it would take for her to pounce. She shrugged and took a bite from an apple. There was something girlish about her, too. Oh, he couldn't stand her contradictions.
Okay, but like...
No! Cole, no!
Stop. But also, just the idea that in Selena's head there are two types of women. There are either women like her or women like Lady Catherine and no in between. And I'm just like... Women contain multitudes.
But no mention of, like, you know, the older lady, the Mrs. Potts character, fairy godmother, whatever her name is.
Who's also kind of a bitch, but
yeah,
like...
who is also a bitch, but I don't know. I guess she's just the advanced stage of Lady Catherine to...
She's old lady. She's not really a lady. She's old, right?
Anyway.
Because old women aren't people.
You're staring, Captain. He almost apologized, but stopped. She was a haughty, vulgar, utterly impertinent assassin. He wished for the months to fly by, for her to be appointed champion, and then, once her years of servitude were over, to be gone.
Don't say shit like that, Cole. You're gonna set yourself up to be the love interest, and I'm already scared.
He hadn't slept well since they'd taken her out of Endovier. You have food in your teeth, he said. She picked it out with a sharp nail and turned her head to the window. The rain slid down the glass. Was she looking at the rain or something beyond? He sipped from his goblet. Despite her arrogance, she was clever and relatively kind and somewhat charming. No.
How?
No.
How is she kind and how is she charming?
And how is she clever? She has been none of these things. No, she's just arrogant. But where was that writhing darkness? Why didn't it show its darkness? Why didn't it show itself so he could just throw her into the dungeon and call off this ridiculous competition? There was something great and deadly concealed within her, and he didn't like it. He'd be ready. When the time came, he'd be waiting. He just wondered which one of them would survive. Yeah, cool story. There is no darkness here. There is nothing going on behind those eyes. All there is other women.
Pretty much.
I want to just kill everyone. She's like a chihuahua.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was a long chapter of mostly nothing. At least we got Nehemia introduced. I wish that she was the main character so bad.
I'm just over...
She actually seems like she's doing things.
I'm just over here like... Damn, it would be so much easier if, like, all of these chapters just absolutely fuck all happened so that I could easily be written off as, like, oh, this was just added for padding. But no, they always manage to sneak one slightly plot-relevant thing in, like introducing an important character or something like that. To the point where I'm just all like, no, this was planned. Just Sarah J. Maas likes to pad her writing out with bullshit.
Like, a lot of meals were eaten in this chapter. A lot of interaction between Alyssa Cleese and Cole.
Also, like, okay, very much getting the whole girls be eating vibe with her. And the whole, like, I'm not like other girls, I eat food. which is a I'm not like other girls thing, which is weird because it's all girls eat food.
They have to survive.
They have to survive. Like the whole I don't like makeup, I like pizza kind of cringe shit.
But then they're trying to have their cake and eat it too with the I like fashion. And then I'm like,
except
do you? But do you though?
She's all like, oh, my corset is evil and all of this stuff. And it's like, and she's like, oh yes, I have this nice dress on. And the Nehemia says, oh, fuck that dress. And she's like, yeah, fuck this dress. It's like she has no spine. No real thoughts of her own. It's just whatever makes her look cool to the person she wants to look cool to.
And again,
is ultimate cringe.
Like, there is no juxtaposition either between, you can like fashion and makeup and your appearance and then also scarf down an entire pan pizza by yourself. I've done it.
Hell yeah.
You can do both. You don't have to choose. You can like to eat and also like to look good. Mm-hmm. These are not contradictory things. Again, I think last episode I revealed that I have eaten 10 quarts of ice cream over the last 2 weeks by myself.
Yeah.
Guess what? I still like to look nice.
Yeah.
It didn't change anything.
I don't understand the whole like girls be eating thing. I don't know where that came from. I guess it's like a commentary on like, oh, I don't have an eating disorder, I love myself, and I'm just like, that's kind of a fucked up thing to say, actually.
Like, I get that it could definitely be sort of a counter to diet culture, especially as that strongly impacts young women. But
at the same time, I'm all like, wow, that is basically like saying, I don't have an eating disorder, I'm cooler than other girls, and then I'm just like, that's a fucked up thing to say, actually.
Yeah.
That's a really fucked up thing to say.
I will close this episode out with one interesting observation that I just made.
What?
That brief segment at the end where we're in Cole's viewpoint, he does not use her name once.
Yeah.
She's always just the assassin, or she, or her. I know because I was trying to catch myself so that I made sure to say Alyssocles instead of Selena. And yeah, he does not mention her name once over those 2 pages.
I'm sure there's going to be a dramatic point somewhere down the line where he calls her by her name, and it's going to be romantic, and I'm going to gag.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, just keep it like this. He's just like, listen, I've already forgotten who the fuck you are.
I have forgotten your name entirely. I have my own shit going on.
He's like, I just know that your cover name is Lady Lillian, and I have committed that so hard to memory that I don't want to say your name when we're by ourselves because I'll fuck it up.
We love it.
I'm like, good. Let him be. Also, I remembered from last episode when I said that I was imagining Cole as the guy from The Age of Arrogance. Prince Carlisle, that is his name.
Okay. I still don't know who this is, but you did post a picture of it on the Discord for our patrons.
Let's go Patreon plug.
Did you know that you could join our Discord for free just by following our Patreon?
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything. We just have a collection called Freebies for Followers. So if you follow us on Patreon without donating a single cent, you get access to the Discord. But
if you do pay us some money,
then you get access to the patron exclusive channels on that Discord,
where you get all of these episodes early, the day we record them, basically.
Yeah, which is like weeks in advance from when they go up on YouTube. Or, I mean, they're on YouTube, but they're not public.
And then you get to discuss with us and bitch and moan with us about how annoying Selena is earlier than anybody else.
Plus, you also get your name in the description down below, and if you're in the $5 tier or higher, it'll be listed in the end credits of the video.
And if you pay even to a higher tier, you can get your name in the
books.
Yes.
The things that we make.
In the dedication.
Yes.
Dedication of the books.
And I do have another book coming out this year, so it sure would be great if you got your name in a published book.
Wouldn't that be something? Something to show off to your friends and be all like, hey, I know these nerds.
And you get access to, and this deal only gets better as time goes on, but I believe it's either the $5 or the $10 tier, I don't remember which, but you get access to ebook versions of everything that I have published at that level.
The $10 tier?
It might, I think I might have lowered it to $5.
Okay.
Don't quote me, I haven't checked in a minute, but that deal
we
is
don't
only...
remember things. We have mental illness.
Yes. But again, that deal is only going to get sweeter with time because I continue publishing new things. So, yeah, it just adds the number of things you will get access to. And yeah, I think that's it for the Patreon plug. So we're going to go ahead and close this out, and we'll see you again next week, or earlier if you're on Patreon, for Chapter 14.
Bye-bye!
Bye! Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to my patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or in the description below, please consider joining my Patreon. Your support means so much to me and allows me to continue making content. If you want to support my content in different ways, consider buying my books, donating on Ko-fi, subscribing to the channel, or even just giving this video a like and comment. Any and everything is appreciated so much. Keep growing till next time, Rose Garden!